In this brief video, we'll look at setting up your displays in Corelyzer. The settings to set up displays are found in the Edit menu, Preferences option, and then the Display tab of that dialog. It looks like this. The items highlighted in the orange boxes here are the ones you'll need to concern yourself with. In general, the DPI and the border thickness options you should just leave at the defaults. I've never had to mess with those in the past, and you shouldn't need to either. If you just have a single display, like your laptop screen or a desktop with a single monitor, the Corelyzer default settings should just work and use the full width and height of your display. If you want to display Corelyzer on multiple displays, then things get a little more complicated. Here are a few requirements. First, you'll need to know the resolution of the displays that you plan to use, and you'll need to determine which of those displays will show the Corelyzer visualization canvas. Those displays should have the same resolution. So it's okay to have displays with mixed resolutions as long as the ones you're planning to use for Corelyzer have the same resolution. That's just fine. And as always, don't hesitate to contact the CSD facility if you need assistance. We're always here to help. So we're going to look at a couple of the setups we have at the lab at the CSD facility and how those are configured. So this is one style we have a few setups for in the lab. So 2 monitors side by side allows you to see a lot of core material at once, which is nice. Both of these monitors have the same physical size and the same resolution. They're both 2560 by 1440 pixels. And here is the configuration that we use to achieve that. So there's a single row with 2 columns, one for each of the side-by-side displays. The resolution of each of those monitors is 2560 by 1440, so that's entered here. And there's no offset. All other values can just be left at the defaults. So that's how we achieve this display configuration. Then the other setup we have at the lab is this one, where we don't display any Corelyzer visualization canvas on the left monitor. That's for applications and other things, so Corelyzer doesn't get in the way. And then we have this is actually just a HD 4K TV. It's not a quote true monitor. It's just a television. And we found that this is a setup that people really like. The TV is large, gives lots of real estate to show lots of core material, and setup is relatively simple because it's just a single display, and this is usually sufficient for most folks. And the way that this setup is configured is a little more complicated in some ways than the first one because it uses the offset field. But so here we're only displaying Corelyzer on a single display, so there's just one row and one column. The resolution of that 4K TV is 4K. It's 3840 by 2160. As usual, DPI can just be left alone. And then the trick here is that we're using column offset. And so we have an offset of 3840, which you'll notice is also the width of the monitor on the left. And so what that offset is basically saying is push the single display of Corelyzer 3840 pixels to the right onto this 4K TV. So if this monitor had a different resolution, if this monitor had a resolution of, say, 2000, which is not a real monitor or resolution, but just for an example, if it was 2000, then you'd have your column offset set to 2000 here, and it would effectively offset it to the right by 2000 pixels or whatever the width of this monitor is. So that's how we arrived at this configuration. So again, if you have any questions or trouble setting up your own Corelyzer setup, don't hesitate to contact the CSD facility. We're always here to help. And that's it.